I was sitting at my desk, morning tea steeping in silence, a candle flickering beside my worn copy of The Game of Life and How to Play It. And I realised, for most of my life, I had been begging the universe, begging God, begging the invisible forces for just a little more ease, a little more money, a little more peace. And all this time I called it faith, but it wasn't. It was pleading, it was hoping, it was scarcity, dressed up in spiritual language. I was saying, please, when I should have been saying now. I was whispering maybe, when the law responds to command. And so I made a decision that morning, one that would change everything. I closed my eyes, placed my hand over my heart, and declared, I stop asking, I start commanding. By divine law, money flows to me, now. Not with force, not with arrogance, but with authority, spiritual authority, because I finally understood the law doesn't respond to need, it responds to word, to alignment, to clarity, to command. I stopped trying to earn the blessing, and I started standing in it. And that's when everything shifted. Let me tell you why. Because the law of prosperity, the law of supply, the law of divine right action, all respond not to desperation, but to decisiveness. To be wishy-washy with your word is to be overlooked by the wealth that's waiting, but to be clear, to be calm, to be sure. That's the frequency of favour. That's what calls forth the invisible into form. I used to write affirmations like prayers, begging the page to believe me. Now I write them like orders. I command unexpected money to reach me now. I command every bill to be paid with ease and grace. I command the wealth that belongs to me by divine law to appear. And when I write it, I don't ask twice. Because when you place an order at a fine restaurant, you don't call the waiter back 10 times asking if they've started cooking it yet. You trust the order was heard. You wait with presence. You prepare the table. You act as if what you asked for is already on the way, because it is. The same is true for divine supply. And that was the turning point of my financial life. Not a change in income, not a new job, not a surprise inheritance, but a shift in spiritual posture. I went from petitioning the heavens to partnering with law. And I'm here to tell you, when you shift from asking to commanding by divine law, money stops hesitating, it starts obeying. Because money is not your master, it is your servant. And servants do not respond to fear, they respond to clarity, love, and direction. So I began speaking with the voice of one who remembers her covenant. I said, I no longer ask like a beggar. I declare like a queen. Not to impress anyone, not to posture for pride, but because it's true. You are not a pauper in this spiritual economy. You are an heir to the kingdom of supply. And until you speak like one, you will live beneath your inheritance. Pause with me here. Breathe into this. By divine law, I no longer ask, I command, and it is done. Let your cells memorize that. Let your heart relax into that truth. Let your frequency rise, not from hustle, but from holy remembrance. And if you've felt something shift already, don't keep this moment to yourself. Let your comment be your first command, right below. I command money to flow to me by divine law. Now, let it echo into the field. Let the universe take note. Let your subconscious receive the memo. And if you're ready to keep walking this sacred path of power, subscribe now, because we are just getting started. No more asking, no more waiting. You are a living command, and divine law is listening. I used to confuse begging with believing. I thought the more humble my request, the more likely heaven would say yes. But the divine doesn't answer pity. It answers power. It answers alignment. And so I began a new practice. Every morning, before emails, before coffee, before fear could speak, I spoke a command. Money, I no longer chase you. You now return to me with interest. And I felt it, not just as words in the air, but as a vibration in my chest. That's the key. Commanding doesn't come from your voice. It comes from your frequency. You can whisper and still be louder than the world when you speak from knowing. And here's what I know now. The spiritual economy doesn't work like the earthly one. In the world of man, you have to apply, to prove, to earn. But in the realm of spirit, you have to align, declare, and receive. That's it. No resume needed, just remembrance, because the law is already set. The supply is already stored. The wealth is already waiting. It's not outside of you. It's not hidden in someone else's vault. It's been circling you all along, waiting for your frequency to say yes. You know what blocks it? Doubt, confusion. That tired inner monologue of, who am I to command? Let me tell you, you are the image of the infinite. You are the breath of God wrapped in skin. You are the living word made form, and the divine doesn't stutter. So neither should you. When you command wealth, you're not being arrogant, you're being obedient, because the law says, speak the word, and it shall not return void. That's not metaphor. That's mechanics. Your word is a wand, and your subconscious, it obeys without question. It doesn't ask if you deserve it. It doesn't care how long you've struggled. It only asks, what's the new order? So every time you say, I can't afford that. I don't know where it'll come from. I hope something changes soon. You're placing an order for more struggle, more delay, more confusion. But when you catch it and correct it and speak again, by divine law, I am supplied in full. By divine law, every dollar I need now returns to me multiplied. By divine law, wealth finds me now. Everything shifts because now you're not just speaking from hope. You're speaking from law, from principle, from divine clarity. And clarity, it's magnetic. It pulls miracles into your atmosphere like iron to a magnet. So I began to notice bills arriving, followed by unexpected checks, opportunities showing up without effort, ideas flowing through me, already complete. It wasn't magic, it was mathematics, the spiritual kind. I was no longer a wishful thinker. I was a divine commander, not through ego, through remembrance, that I am one with the source, that my supply is not from man, but through man, from God. And if you've been whispering prayers into the void, wondering if you're ever heard, let this moment be your pivot. Stop asking, start commanding, not just for you, but for the version of you who gave up long ago and never knew she could speak like this. Say it out loud. Now, I command my financial restoration by divine law, and feel the atmosphere around you respond. Because it will. If this message is stirring something ancient in you, it's not by accident. You didn't stumble onto this video. You were summoned here by your own divine readiness. So do what the spiritually wealthy always do. Subscribe now, and let this be your new classroom. Let these words retrain your mind. Let this be the day your language changed and your bank account followed. And in the comments, write your command. Write it like a law, because that's what it is. Your word is wealth, waiting to take form. There's a phrase I say now, quietly but often. My word becomes form, swiftly, silently, and under grace. I don't say it to feel better, I say it because it's true. And when truth becomes rhythm, life begins to move to your beat. And that's what no one tells you. Manifestation is not about force. It's not about begging louder, scripting harder, or repeating affirmations until your voice breaks. It's about tone, alignment, posture. Are you speaking from fear or from law? Are you asking for permission or stepping into your position? Because once I stepped in, everything began to echo with yes, not overnight, but over and over and over. Until the new pattern was stronger than the old story, I stopped saying things like, I'm trying to manifest more. I'm hoping something shifts. I just need a breakthrough. I started saying, my breakthrough is underway by divine command. Wealth is locating me now because my word sent for it. All doors are opening, not because I begged, but because I declared. And you know what's sacred? The shift wasn't just outside, it was internal. There was a new ease in my body, a new gentleness in my breath, a new rhythm in my steps, like I was walking with the certainty of someone whose order had already been accepted. Because that's what it is. When you speak in alignment with divine law, the entire universe becomes your silent fulfillment center, and it doesn't ask for credentials. It doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to be clear. Clear in voice, clear in vibration, clear in intent. You see, the universe is not ignoring you. It's just waiting for a clear signal. The moment you speak from alignment, not from guilt, not from shame, not from exhaustion, but from truth. Everything accelerates. You might open your inbox to good news. You might feel a nudge to call someone, and that call opens a door. You might receive a discount, a refund, a divine appointment, not because you forced it, but because you finally claimed it. And here's what I want you to claim right now. You are no longer a money beggar. You are a divine lawgiver. You are no longer hoping to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And you are no longer placing small, timid orders to the universe. You are sending royal decrees from the throne of your own authority, and because you are aligned with divine substance, your decree is already being fulfilled, right now, in ways seen and unseen. And that's the beauty of it. Commanding by divine law is not a demand for control. It's a release into power. It's not about shouting louder. It's about standing still in knowing. Because when you know, you don't chase. When you know, you don't explain. When you know, you simply command. Let this be your turning point. Let this video be your new line in the sand. From this moment forward, you do not ask for wealth. You command it by divine alignment. You do not plead for change. You declare the change already begun. And as a sacred act of agreement, type your declaration in the comments. Let it be written, let it be seen, let it be set in motion. And if this message spoke to something deep in your spirit, subscribe now. Let this be the classroom that reminds you of your original language, the one your soul never forgot. Let's go deeper. Because there's a reason this works. There's a sacred intelligence behind divine law. And once you understand it, you'll never go back to the old way of asking again. Here's the truth Florence Scovel Shinn taught. Your words are not just sounds. They are forms, blueprints, architectural commands. Every time you speak, you are constructing a reality. Every time you affirm, you are issuing a contract. And the universe, being divinely legal, can only fulfill what is properly decreed. So when you say, I never have enough, or I can't afford that, you are not describing your situation, you are prescribing it. You are literally coding the blueprint that divine substance must obey. But when you say, wealth is mine by divine right, money finds me through channels seen and unseen, I do not chase, I magnetize. You are not just being positive, you are being lawful. You are aligning your inner court with the supreme court of heaven, and heaven always honors law. That's why the rich get richer, not because they're better, but because, knowingly or not, they speak like lawgivers. They issue decisions, not doubts. They command. They don't plead. And this isn't about ego. This is about energetic rank. The moment you recognize that your voice is a spiritual instrument, not just a tool for noise, you begin to use it differently. You speak with rhythm, you choose with intention, you move with the grace of someone whose orders are always honored, and they are. Let me tell you something sacred. When I started commanding by divine law, the shift was immediate, not because checks fell from the sky, but because my field changed. I walked differently. I paid bills with reverence, not resentment. I tithed in faith, not fear. I gave generously because I no longer believed in lack. I began to speak to money as a partner, and I commanded its return with love, and money obeyed. Not all at once, but with rhythm, with pattern, with promise. So now I say it plainly. I no longer ask for overflow. I expect it because I've spoken it. I no longer wait for opportunity. I welcome it because I've prepared room for it. I no longer plead with the universe. I partner with it because I now know its language. And that language is command, not arrogance, not demand, but command, rooted in divine worth. And that is your next shift, not to get louder, but to get clearer, not to hustle harder, but to decree from deeper. Because when you command from divine law, you don't need evidence to believe. You believe, and then the evidence arrives. That's the sacred reversal. That's the new paradigm. That's the path we walk here together. So if you haven't already, subscribe now. Let this be your reminder, your rhythm, your recalibration. Every time the old voice tries to creep in, this space is here for you, because the voice you use to speak your life into being deserves to be trained in truth. Let's talk about the proof, because spiritual law is not just about belief. It's about evidence. You don't have to live in blind faith. You can live in confirmed authority. But here's the catch. The universe doesn't give you proof before the command. It gives you proof because of the command. Think of it like this. When you plant a seed, you don't see the flower that day, but you water anyway. Why? Because the command to grow was already spoken, and now it's just a matter of unfolding. That's what your declarations are. Seeded commands, invisible blueprints, spiritual instructions in a divine soil, and the only job you have after speaking them is to not dig them up with doubt. So many people speak their desire at 8 a.m. and cancel it with fear by noon. They affirm wealth, then check their balance and start weeping. They say, "I am abundant," with their lips, but argue for their limitations with every conversation, and the law listens to all of it. Here's what changed my life forever. I realized that the command isn't just about what I say. It's about what I repeat. Your repetition is your worship. Your inner voice is your priest. So when you say, "I am always provided for," divine substance knows no lack. Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied. You are building a temple inside your mind where wealth can dwell. But when you gossip about your struggle, mock your dreams, or replay every money mistake like a looped punishment, you're burning down your own altar. So I made a new rule for myself. You can borrow it if you want. If it's not a command, it doesn't get said. No more casual complaining, no more sarcastic self-attacks, no more, "Ugh, I'm always broke," jokes. Every word must be worthy of the world I'm building, and what I noticed was miraculous. My tone changed, my posture changed, even my spending habits shifted, not from fear, but from faith. I stopped buying out of panic and started investing from peace. I stopped hoarding and started circulating. Because circulation is currency, and currency is the current of wealth, and wealth obeys the one who speaks in current. That's why I say it now, with full joy. I am the architect of divine increase. My voice is a portal. My command is holy. Say that with me. My command is holy. Let it settle into your bones. Let it echo through every place that used to doubt. And then watch what starts to happen. Because when you treat your words like sacred contracts, the universe begins to honor your life as a sacred assignment, and abundance becomes your atmosphere. Let me leave you with this. There is a woman watching this right now who's been waiting her whole life for permission. Not permission to be good. You've been good. Not permission to be patient. You've waited long enough. Not permission to be grateful. You've practiced thankfulness while standing in lack. What you've been waiting for is permission to command, to take the divine throne within you and sit on it, to stop asking for what you were born to receive and start instructing your life like the temple it is. So here it is. You have permission, not from me, not from this video, not even from some ancient text. You have it from Source itself. The same spirit that breathed galaxies into motion now breathes through you. And that breath was never meant to whisper. It was meant to declare. So say it. I command increase. Say it again, louder. I command divine wealth to obey spiritual law and flow to me now. Because that's what law does. It responds. It doesn't judge. It doesn't delay when given a clear signal. It doesn't ask if you're good enough. It hears instruction. And beloved, you are not the beggar at the gates anymore. You are the keeper of the keys. So start acting like it. Speak your wealth into being. Write it on your mirrors. Pray it into your mornings. Whisper it to your bank account until it responds. Because it will. The universe cannot resist a soul in full alignment, and money is just energy wearing numbers. It doesn't belong to the proud. It doesn't belong to the desperate. It belongs to the one who commands in faith. That's your inheritance now. Take it. And as you go, let's build this circle of power together. Comment below with your divine command. Declare it publicly. Let this be your temple of testimony. And if this message woke something in you, subscribe now. Because you and I are only just beginning. Each week, we don't just talk about money. We speak with it. We instruct it. We build altars it can rest on. We become women it cannot ignore. So hit that subscribe button. Claim your place in this rhythm of wealth and walk boldly into the next chapter of your life, where money is not your master, but your messenger. You don't ask it. You don't beg it. You command it by divine law. And so it is.